guys, hello. Welcome back to another thrilling instalment of this bollocking bus. Now, you'll notice again, I'm in the car. I'm not actually in a bus. Nor am I at work, nor am I at the shed. I'm on my way to the shed now. Yeah, I am on my way to the shed now. And this is a last minute thing, so I'm sort of like tried grabbing the GoPros, and the GoPro that I like using now is flat as a pancake after being charged for about a week. It's killed itself, but the GoPros stay on, so it's not a big issue. Just recharge it. Yes, I'm on my way to the shed, and videos, we got to the point again where there's a lack of videos to do, because I was just at that time my morale has been a bit down at the moment, so but we'll have some videos due to come up, so not that bothered by it. So I'm going to take this opportunity to discuss some of what would be the stuff that I can't discuss when I'm in work uniform, but I want to discuss the differences, having driven where I'm on, between Green Road, traffic log and drive cam. Now, I've driven with all of them, so I can say I can give a unbiased opinion about them all. Some of it negative, some of it positive, and unfortunately a lot of it will be negative, but I'll be trying to be as constructive as possible, because it can still land me in trouble, this video, but not as much. So, we'll start off with traffic log, because traffic log is the one I've least driven with. That's the one with 5 lights on the dashboard, which is 5 push buttons, and you type in a pin which logs you to the vehicle. So, traffic log monitors your driving and scores your driving depending on how you're cornering, braking, accelerating, etc. From what I remember, you've got one blue light which is it's active, green light to say it's all good, driving well, and 2 ambers and a red. And obviously ambers means that was a bit of a risky manoeuvre, and red is that's a very risky manoeuvre. System is calibrated by whichever company it is that wants to fit it, or by the company themselves for that specific vehicle. Although this can sometimes just be calibrated in a general sense, and then that means that it isn't calibrated for that particular vehicle. So we'll give you loads of events and tell you you're driving really dangerously, even though you might not be. caught out by it, and I was in the wrong. And I did it going into Chester. I had a sharp braking incident there because the traffic lights changed against me, and it was because I was more concentrating on where I was going because I didn't know the route that I was on, and I let that distract me. And then showed me the clip and went, he was over the crossing, but there's no one there, you know. Just try and be more thoughtful next time, you know. But the important bit is they asked, did you know where you was going? No, I was on a service, I did not know where I was going. Because they know it's an X service. So I had my sat nav on, which I don't know if you can see, don't know if I'll block the camera a bit with it. On the phone that gives me the traffic was just on the side of it. Yeah, we see the phone. Recommend you put that out of the way, but you know, it's there, we can see you're not playing with it. So I used to charge it just like here. Because that's where the cable reached it. But as I say, that then gave the company an idea of how I was driving, you know. And nothing more came of it, you just got a recommendation that try not be distracted. You know, it would have been a problem if someone was on the crossing. Yeah, it would have been. But there was no one on the crossing. So it wasn't an issue. If there was someone on the crossing, I'm sure more would have been said about it, but because there wasn't, it's not a big deal. So that is drive cam, and as I say, I've seen clips when I started at the company that I had it, and it was helpful in knowing what was going on the bus. They showed us a clip of a school service where the driver braked sharp or something like that because he got distracted, and it was relayed to the school in the end because it was determined that the driver was distracted by the school children misbehaving on the service. So with that in mind, that added to the driver's distractions, which then led to this event. So it can be very helpful. Whereas traffic log and green belt, if you get an event and you get pulled in for, say you've got a high driving score, you can't go, oh, that vehicle's faulty, or you know, it's because someone pulled out because it's your word against the commuter's word, which makes it tricky, makes it like you're a bad driver. Whereas the drive cam, it kind of shows if you are or you're not a bad driver, you know what I mean? So like if I wasn't paying attention, that snake passing incident would have been a lot worse. I know I got into the event because I was avoiding an accident, not preventing one. And prevention is what they want. Okay, the passengers got a little bit alerted by the fact that it was such a harsh break, but it avoided what would have been a nasty accident. And I got an hour's pay, and 2 hours pay for that. You know. So it's not all bad. stuff, which can set it off, because it will think that you're cornering too hard. So from my experience, the one that goes faulty the most is Green Road. And I don't know whether that's just a fault of the system, or it's the way it's built, the way it's calibrated. I don't know how it's calibrated, I just know it's calibrated. Now, obviously companies have reporting procedures in place if you find yourself faulty bus and stuff like that, but Drive Green will make a score of your driving. And the score is based on how many events you get every 10 hours. So, for example, at the moment my score is, I think mine is 17. You may say, well, that's high. It is, it's in number. But I've had faulty buses in that time. I've had buses that gave me ready event and I was stationary because the GPS is freaked out on it. And that is the other big thing about that system, is it works your speed out by GPS. So it works out whether you're cornering or accelerating by potentiometers inside, and works your speed out by the GPS. So if it's thunderstorming outside and there's really bad GPS signal and it can't get a signal, or it's struggling to get a signal, it can just give you events where you think you've cornered really hard and you haven't. It just thinks you have. Sometimes the system will automatically wipe these when it realises, but a lot of the time the system doesn't. So it makes you look like, on paper, a bad driver, but it's not. It's just the way that system has worked that out. Obviously you've got the difference between the amber and the red, unlike Drive Cam where you've only got red, either red or green. But Drive Cam is harder to set a red off. You really, really have to drive hard to get a red. Drive Green, Green Road has the additional benefit that you're able to see on an app and on a web platform where you've been, how you're driving, what hotspots they are in your team. Every depot is a team. You know, where you're ranked in the team. Quite frankly, I don't care, but that's the advantages to that. So it can show you, if you get an event and you go, yeah, I agree with that event, you know, you can look at how maybe to prevent the event, or like in certain areas in our territory that we operate now, you can look at the map for the hotspots and go, well, most people are getting an event there, so it must just be a hotspot. Like there's one in Old Trafford, near Old Trafford. If you don't get an event at the first bend, you'll get one at the second, at the roundabout. Just because the way the road's laid out, doesn't matter how you tackle it, unless you're going like 5 miles an hour, you will get an event at that roundabout and at that corner. And let's be honest, no one's going to do 5 miles an hour, because then that makes it dangerous, because you're accelerating, braking down to 5 miles an hour, turning a corner, then accelerating away again. take a little bit more work. You probably have to have someone on it all the time, virtually. So yeah, that's my thoughts anyway. Hope it's been constructive this and not just a slag off, which is what I'm hoping. But that is my thoughts and my feelings on all three systems. I know there's operators in Manchester now that have completely disabled all their systems and just allowing the drivers to drive. The one thing I will say is it's hard, I've done it. Don't let the system stress you out. I say I know I've done it because the system stresses me out every now and again. Especially when you've got a really low score. Like I got my score down once to like 3. Then I got on this bus and it just gave me event after event after event after event. And that sent my score skyrocketing again. So, but don't let it try and not let it stress you out. Don't let it change how you drive. Just drive. If people aren't complaining about you driving, you must be doing something right. If people are complaining about you driving, you're doing something wrong. Now, if you've got a bus with kick down, don't go kicking it down every 5 seconds with passengers on. You know, or thrashing balls off it. Passengers don't like it. They want a nice smooth ride. I know some buses, I know there's one that I've driven where it's had a different pedal fitted, so kick downs on all the time, and you don't really have much choice. But if you have a choice, don't do it, you know. So that's everything I've really got to say about it. I hope you found this video insightful into the systems that monitor the drivers. Truckers have the same systems a lot of the times. There may be a few different ones for the trucks as well, but mainly, you know, they'll all generally use the same. Again, sometimes they go by different names, but they're all basically the same. People have different names. But I'll put links into the sites that provide them, so you can have a read up on them. It is corporate bullshit, because it's all their website does is try and sell you their product. So you can have a look at it anyway and see what you think of your opinions, and then share them down below. If you're a driver, share your thoughts and opinions. But if you are a driver and you are going to share your thoughts and opinions, I will advise, very strongly advise, do not mention any company names, because that is what lands you in trouble with social media policy. Just put the company I drive for, or I've driven a vehicle with Green Road, or drive cam and this, you know. Don't put company names, whatever you do. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Obviously, we've got Discord, Patreon. Don't forget this video has been provided and supported by Patreon and YouTube membership. I don't have one that sounds good enough for YouTube membership. Yeah, don't forget you can catch us on Discord, www.mancbuses.com/Discord. That'll automatically give you the invite link. It has been set up to give you the invite link, and you'll be fired over to Discord. Got the merch, which isn't coming on at the moment, which I'm wearing here. At www.mancbuses.com/merch, I think it is. If it's short at it, not me. Take a look at the website and obviously give us, if you've not already, give us a nice thumbs up if you like the video. Give it a thumbs down if you really want, if you really dislike the video, but I can't see why. Make sure you comment any thoughts you have, or any ideas, or your experiences, and hit that subscribe button, and make sure you press that bell. Let's get on the road to 7k if we're not already at it. So thank you so so much for your time. I know this has been a long one. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Like thunder we can go. The drive wheels digging, this rock and roll rig is a side pipe singing. On the radiator bile, the fan belt is screaming and the bear roll out for ride. Well, you will hear it coming as she is piped with coal. Up cruising through the tunnels and rolling into.
It's not big enough.
That's what she